You know, I've met a lot of people over the years, from all different backgrounds, all different interests, but I've yet to meet a Disney fan that didn't want to take home a piece of the magic. And I'm not just talking about your run-of-the-mill souvenir. Nah, that stuff is easy to get your hands on, at least for the most part. What I'm talking about is like a piece of theme park history. Maybe a sign from an extinct attraction or show, a piece of artwork from one of their favorite resorts, a kite from Kite Tales. Is that one just me? Maybe. Nonetheless, this interest in having a piece of the magic in your own home is what has people headed out to places like the Lakeland Antique Mall or where we're headed today, a new spot that recently opened up about 30 to 40 minutes away from the Walt Disney World Resort, and it's called Recycling the Magic. This place opens up very soon, so we're gonna make our way over, take a look around, see what we can get our hands on, and I'm gonna let you know if this is a spot that you might wanna check out next time you're in the area. You ready? All right, get in your seat, buckle up, let's go.
A few moments later.
All right, we made it. Recycling the Magic. Only took us about 25-ish minutes to get here. We also did take a toll road, so that's important to know. You don't have to take a toll road. There was some alternate routes that would have gotten us here in around 50 minutes. I'm just gonna pay the $1.70 or whatever it is. But let's head on in, see what we can find, and I don't know, just take a look around. Now, I don't know about you, but whenever I'm at a place like this, I never know where exactly to start, you know? Like, there's so much going on, so I picked a bin, and it happened to be a bin full of watches, and oh my goodness, I barely even scratched the surface of this bin. You know, like, when you visit places like this, especially places that sell antiques or collectibles, thrift stores, stuff like that, there's so much, and you have to give yourself time to just sit back, sift through and see what's available. I did take some time to really look at as much as I could see today, but honestly, we could have been here all day. I love that they have furniture here as well. I want to say these are from the All-Star Resorts. They had a ton of them. I would definitely consider picking one up. I feel like it would be nice for our little balcony. Lots of stuff from Trader Sam's in this little cabinet, some things I've never seen before. Oh, so this caught my attention because this is from, is it the Gummy Bears? Yeah, the Gummy Bears. Do you guys remember that show? So as we're kind of making our way through today, you'll notice that there's a lot of stuff from Walt Disney World, which is where we focus a lot of our attention, being here in the Orlando area, but there's stuff from elsewhere as well. So, you know, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Disneyland. Again, you just have to sift through and see what you can find, what catches your eye. Lots of cute things in here. This painting caught my eye. It is just too cute, but you know, I also saw this construction sign as well, $4.95 for that, as in $495. You know, just like with everything else, whenever you go to a place like this, prices can vary wildly, so they have some things that are more affordable, a lot easier to take something home with you, but they also have things that are just, I don't want to say outrageous because it's not necessarily outrageous for what it is, but you're definitely paying for a unique piece of Disney history, you know? So just keep that in mind. I haven't seen something like this in forever. Do you guys remember these things? That is just too funny. You never know what you'll find. Here's something from Disney Sea, Tokyo Disney Sea. Of course, there's so much stuff just everywhere. We've got some stickers here as well. Look at this Delta sticker. Do you guys remember Delta Dream Flight? I loved that attraction. I remember back when Delta was a thing for Walt Disney World, the little thing that they would give you when you got on a Delta flight because you were headed to Disney. Do you guys remember that? Anyway, got some other stickers here. Really, really neat stuff. Like I said, lots of stuff to sift through. You're probably going to hear me say that 1,000 times in today's discussion. Look at this. This is a cell phone antenna topper. Do you guys remember when cell phones had antennas? Wild. Got some keychains here. This one looks like it's from 1988. And then we have this one, $5, not too bad. This is why you have to sift through things though, because there's little piles and you never know what's hiding under there. Have some golf patches. Lots of golf stuff coming out at the parks right now, so this might be something that interests those of you who like golfing. More stickers, Air Force One and Disney Quest. Don't forget, the building that used to be Disney Quest that turned into the NBA experience is going to be turning into another Disney Quest-like experience. Whew, that was a mouthful. We even have some festival passports in here. I'm not entirely sure what this is. Can't really see the words. More keychains. This one's from the grand opening of Tokyo Disney Sea. And again, just a basket of things to look through, see if you can find any treasures in here. Looks like this is, I think it's a parking pass, yeah. And then we have this sticker for MGM Studios. I miss when it was MGM. $9.95 for this. Man, so many good memories in here. Now, as we keep moving our way through, there is a lot to see. And it's not huge, it's not a huge place, but it's definitely not small by any stretch of the imagination. Lots of little things in bins. And there are some treasures in here. This actually caught my attention. Caribbean Beach means a lot to me and my family. It's one of the first places that we did a family vacation. So when I saw this, I just couldn't help but smile. But I didn't pick it up. No, not today. That's all right though. Still super cool. And then check this out. This is a funny thing to find in here, but yes, you can buy Joffrey's coffee. I mean, I wouldn't, but Also lots of little things like this. Little commemorative things for cast members. Also, we have an Animal Kingdom Imagineering ID. It's always so interesting to see all of this stuff. New Fantasyland, the Legends of Captain Jack Sparrow. Again, you got to take the time to just sit here and look. Oh, look at this. Grand Avenue Project Team. Huh. Definitely a lot to see. Wow, look at this. A paper fast pass. Do you guys remember paper fast passes? I know a lot of people really wished that we could go back to that, especially with Genie Plus and the Lightning Lane situation. It was something else, wasn't it? But, times are changing, and the new Skip the Line service is one of those things that has changed. But, check this out. This is another one of those things that kind of came and went over the years. This is a mask. You would make these at the KidCot locations around Epcot, and, when you went to a country, you'd get a stamp on the handle. This was for the Millennium Celebration. They also had these little things that would get added to your mask so you could color it as you went around World Showcase. So cool. 25th anniversary paper plates and bowls. Wow, unreal. Okay, this isn't Disney related, but this Magic Eye 2 book, I had one of these. I loved this thing. I couldn't believe that I found it. That's so cool. You really never know what you're gonna find in places like this, and I can't even imagine all of the things that we missed. So many knickknacks and little figures available here as well. Just such a variety to choose from. That evil queen, she is not happy with those princesses, I'll tell you what. We have a sign from Boat Rights, and we have some frisbees. I love that you can find things from restaurants and stuff that you can't just buy. Having a place where you can pick it up and add it to your collection and have it at home, especially if it was meaningful to you, I just think that that's pretty great. We have this picture of Mickey. You can clearly see the castle is not pink. I mention this because with the pink castle, I don't really care for the pink castle. I miss the gray castle. But I have a picture at home from 2008 and it almost looks pink. It was like the craziest thing, but no, definitely not pink. I don't know exactly what this is, but I thought it was cute. Check out these buttons. Now, of course, some of you may know you can get buttons when you visit the theme parks, and they've looked a little different over the years. This one is from the 25th anniversary as a first visit button, and then this one is like a guest of honor button. Not too bad, $1.25. So cool. I love that they change over the years. I wish we would see some new designs Got a thermos here. I had one of these, not this exact thermos, but like this style of thermos, you know, that goes in the plastic lunchbox. Look what's hiding back here though. Easter is right around the corner. This is an Easter egg dyeing kit from Walt Disney World. Isn't that something? I couldn't believe it when I saw this. I was like, wow, check that out. Do you guys dye Easter eggs? And do you use like this type of kit? Or do you use like markers or whatever? I know there are so many different methods today. But okay, when I say you have to keep your eyes open, this is what I'm talking about. I saw this, it was like hiding behind a board game. I had this set. And seeing it just unlocked a memory. I don't remember like the picture or the plates, but I distinctly remember the cups on a tray. Wow. That is something special. Anyway, moving right along, we have some plushies. This feels very much like a Disney store. Some unique plushies right here. This one was $14.99. Then there's like a creepy Pooh Bear. Oh, do you see him? Like, I didn't even notice him in the moment, but then as I was pulling this together, I was like, oh my goodness. But let's move on. We have jackets here, lots of denim jackets. The prices for these was about $250-ish. If memory serves me right, obviously every jacket is priced differently. Lots of fun stuff here. We also have this jacket from Micro Adventure over at Tokyo Disneyland. And as you can see on the back, it has the Imagination Institute. Isn't that so interesting? I just thought that was so cool. I'm not familiar with that attraction. Lots of interesting things hiding in these racks, though, just like everywhere at this shop. Lots of interesting stuff. This jacket caught my attention. It's from the New Millennium, year 2000. It's kind of like a leather jacket. I don't know what the price was on that in particular, but lots of interesting stuff here. How do you guys feel about buying stuff like that? You know, like if you weren't the opening crew for Animal Kingdom, would you buy and wear that coat? I mean, it's not the type of thing that I would do just because I'm really picky when it comes to stuff like that, but it would be such a cool thing to have in your collection, especially if it was for a park that you really loved. So I'd love to know your thoughts. I'm not sure what's up with these. Like, obviously these are quote cards, but like I wonder where these came from, like what the deal is with these cards. Interestingly enough, some of them are like $1, some of them were like $3. I'm not entirely sure what was up with that, but you know, I'm sure they have their reasons. Now, some of what they have here is one of a kind. Some of it they have a lot of, like these bags from the 50th anniversary. I want to say this was from the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. So, you know, you never know what you might be able to get your hands on. Lots of tickets from Disneyland over here. Again, in a little frame, which is nice. Kind of makes it ready so you can pop it right onto your wall. If framed artwork or posters is something that you're really interested in, they did have some interesting things here at Recycle the Magic during my visit. Now, I do want to put a little disclaimer. Just because it was there when I went, which wasn't too long ago, doesn't necessarily mean that it will still be there. You know, these things are one of a kind in some cases. They're here today, gone tomorrow. So just keep that in mind and realize that, you know, they might have something there now that wasn't there during my visit, and it might be exactly what you're looking for. So I could definitely see stopping in here fairly regularly. I'll tell you what, I was thinking about you guys as soon as I saw these, because we talk all the time about how much you like the t-shirt walls, and these are the panels displaying the art that are on the t-shirts. So cute. This caught my attention though. This is Duffy. Isn't it adorable? I will say these were a little bit pricey. I want to say they were like $50 each, which is a lot, but it would make for a great little piece of artwork. Lots of unique stuff in here. I love the banners. The Hunchback of Notre Dame banner I absolutely love. We have a sconce cover from the Animal Kingdom over here, $150. Very unique, but maybe if this is your home resort, or if it's a resort you really love, add it to your collection, add it to your home, you know. This is a VHS from DVC. I can't tell you how many of these I've watched. Let me know if you've ever watched one of these VHS tapes by leaving a comment down below. You know, I know it's a whole new world now, but man, I miss having the VHS tapes or the DVDs that would psych you up for your vacation, you know? Do you guys remember those? I used to watch them so much with my family, especially when we were planning vacations. It was part of the magic, and I feel like that's missing. Watch me dance in front of this mirror. I'm not entirely sure where it's from. It looks like it's a Cinderella mirror, but we do have some pillows from Saratoga Springs and this very interesting, albeit worn out belt. I don't know, that caught my eye. I thought it was pretty cool. Lots of t-shirts here and other miscellaneous things. This patch caught my attention, again from Tokyo Disneyland for the Swiss Family Treehouse. And there's just so much else to see. Little sets and toys and hats. Oh my goodness, so many hats. Some of them, like the DVC hat back there, you may have seen before. This one was just from a couple years ago, but they had some other things in there too, which might be interesting to some of you. Oh, check this out. This is a cell phone holder. Yeah, remember when we used to put our cell phones on our belts? It wasn't always a grandpa thing to do. Also some cards from Sorcerers of the Magic Kingdom. $3. Not too bad if you're looking for a few to add to your collection. I miss that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I miss the Sorcerers in the Magic Kingdom. And then of course we have the hot air balloon with a birthday hat on. Speaking of hats, there are also some hard hats here. Tokyo Disney Sea, some other hard hats as well. And for the pin collectors out there, there are some pins here too. There are so many. I didn't even take the time to sift through them. Russ will probably want to come back out here and take a closer look, but they do have so much stuff, including entire sets. So if you're a pin collector, maybe you want to see what you can add to your collection, pop on over and see what they've got. There's a Doug Live pin here. Wow, that's interesting. Look, there are so many interesting things here. You could be here all day just combing through all of it. I can't even tell you. This is another section that I did find particularly interesting. Lots of little things, knickknacks, collectibles. I loved these puppets. Do you guys remember the Millennium Celebration that happened over at Epcot? It was absolutely gorgeous, and these puppets played a huge role. I can't believe that they have them here at Recycling the Magic. They're a great find, not only both of them, but also the poster. And then there are so many other things in here as well. Lots of Donald Duck stuff, which I thought was nice. You know, Russ is a huge fan of Donald Duck. This postcard actually features Tom Sawyer Island, the barrel bridge, as well as the river boat, but this is a Disneyland postcard. Counting down the days until that closes. I bet it's going to be sooner rather than later. Over here at Walt Disney World, that is. Not sure what the situation is at Disneyland or if they're planning on changing that. I can't imagine that they would. We have some vinyl over here, which again, you gotta just take the time to look through and see if anything catches your eye. And there's just so much more, even costumes, which is amazing. And we do have a songbook here as well. Well, that concludes our trip to Recycling the Magic, I have to say. Pleasantly surprised. Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you. When I made my way out here, I was hoping for the best, but expecting to be unimpressed. Mainly because recently, a lot of the places that I've been checking out, because I see them online, you know, I hear people talking about them. Once I get there, they're meh, you know? But this one, no, this was worth the visit. Now look, this isn't a huge location. I know that some people might be expecting something similar to like a huge antique mall. That's not what this is, though it is still a good size. And there's so much in there that it could take you a significant amount of time to comb through the place. And I do think if you're gonna make your way out, you should give yourself enough time to do just that. Because just like other antique malls and, you know, thrift stores, you need time. You need time to really take everything in and comb through the bins and racks so that you can find something that appeals to you. Otherwise, you might find yourself a little bit disappointed because while things are organized, and I have to say they were organized pretty well in here, we're talking about a mix of things. So there's only so much organization, you know, there's not multiples of everything, and that means you're gonna need to give yourself time to sift through. Almost everything else about Recycling the Magic, at least in my opinion, was what I expected it to be. Lots of stuff from Disney, whether it's Disney World or Disneyland, Hong Kong Disney, Tokyo Disney, and at a wide range of price points. So you could be spending, you know, $2, you could be spending $5,000. Whether or not whatever it is that you're thinking about picking up is actually worth that is really in the eye of the beholder. There are some things that I think are a little bit overpriced, some things that I think are like a stellar deal. It just depends on how much that particular thing means to you. But that's not even the most impressive thing about Recycling the Magic, because as I was in there kind of wandering around, sifting through things, I saw a lot of stuff that had me wondering, how on earth do they get this? And my question was answered on my way to checkout. See, as it turned out, on my way to cash out, a few Imagineers had popped in and they were swapping stories with the owners. And that gave me a little bit of insight as to how they get what they get from the cast members and Imagineers. It turns out that they have an entire network of people both here as well as in California that all work together to find these items a new home so that they can be loved as opposed to trashed. And I think that that's fantastic. It's one of the reasons that I wanted to pick something up from Recycling the Magic today, and I did. I picked up 2 things, including an Epcot Center t-shirt, which still had tags on it, fantastic, and I got a little something for the Boo Crew, but I'm not gonna say anything because I want it to be a bit of a surprise. But anyway, at the end of the day, I do think that this place is worth checking out. They do take credit card, which is fantastic. They were friendly. They also gave me enough room to wander around and explore, which is really nice. It is a little bit out of the way if you are at the Walt Disney World Resort, but if this is your speed and you want to find a really unique souvenir from the Walt Disney World Resort or from other Disney properties from around the world, I think it's worth a visit. But let me know your thoughts by leaving a comment down below. Also, tell me if you've ever been to a place that sells this type of thing before. What have you picked up, if anything? I'd love to hear what it is. But until then, have a fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time. Bye.